Hello everyone. In the previous session, we have learned about how to speak in pitches. Of course, your content is the most important. However, how you communicate your content can make a huge difference to the impression that your audience has. So please keep the points in mind and keep practicing. Well, in this session, which is the final session of the second module, I will explain the key points in the meeting with the venture capital. I have already explained the purpose of pitching and the major stakeholders. Among them, pitching to venture capital is extremely difficult as you are asking them to invest in your startup and they will have to take high risk. Before that, however, let us check the answers to the mini quiz in the previous session. First, the answer to question 1. What are 5 key points in terms of the verbal aspect? They are passionate, not too fast, no preamble, pausing appropriately, as well as being confident. Next, the answers to question 2. What are 3 key points in terms of the non-verbal aspects? They are behaving naturally, making eye contact, and smiling. Finally, the answers to question 3. Who will make the presentation in your team? You should choose the best speaker in your team. Let me emphasize, even if the content is the same, the impression that your audience has will change greatly depending on how you communicate it. So please keep these points in mind and keep practicing. Now, let us move on to today's main topic, meeting with venture capital. First of all, what is venture capital? Are they investors? Or are they investors who specifically focus on investing in startups? Among such people, there are also angel investors. So, what's the difference? Does anyone know? To put it simply, venture capitalists are professional investors who invest with third-party funds. Unlike angels who invest with their own money, the key difference here is that venture capital invests with a third party's money. As I have emphasized in the previous sessions, especially in the meeting with venture capital, please focus on telling the unique founding story of your startup. Please tell them what problem you are trying to solve and what kind of business impact that you are aiming for, along with your vision. Your story needs to be interesting, believable, can resonate, future-oriented, as well as being memorable. Additionally, your story needs to have information about big opportunities, traction, as well as your team. Now, when you actually have a meeting with a venture capitalist, please keep these 4 points in mind. These 4 points are preparation, a simple pitch, showing a demo or a prototype, as well as listening. I will explain them in order. First, prepare in advance. Be sure to do your homework before the meeting. What kind of startups have they invested in so far? What is their decision-making criteria when investing? If you look at the website of their company, you will surely be able to find this information, if not all. Also, regarding the individual person whom you will meet, it is a good idea to check the person's LinkedIn. If you go straight to the actual meeting without any preparation, you will automatically be at a disadvantage. Next, keep your pitch simple. Remember the elevator pitch? This time, it's a pre-scheduled meeting. So you have more time than in the elevator, but your pitch still needs to be simple and concise. Generally, the first minute or two will determine whether someone is interested in or not. So please talk along the points of how to communicate that you have learned in the session so far. If you have a convincing story, there is no need to have a lengthy presentation. Please remember to speak clearly and concisely. In a meeting with venture capital, I strongly recommend you to show a demo of your service or prototype. What they expect from startups is rapid growth, or in other words, speed. As they already agreed to meet you, they are interested in your business to a certain extent. Therefore, it is effective to show a demo so that they can have a more concrete idea of the service that you are working on. This also proves that you are a person who can proceed fast in terms of business. If you are a hardware startup, please bring a prototype. The key is to make them visualize what the finished product will look like. You are trying to convince investors that you can make what you talk about happen for sure. Therefore, if you do not bring anything that allows them to visualize the finished product, be it hardware or software, everything will be determined by your speaking skills. And it is very important to listen to what your audience says. Since you have worked so hard to set up a meeting, you tend to focus only on what to say and how to say. However, please pay close attention to how your audience will react. The meeting is not a one-sided speech, so it is important to have dialogue with the party that you are talking to and gain feedback from them as well. If your audience expresses their opinion or asks a question, it's a sign that the meeting is going well. If they have no interest at all, they will just listen to you without asking any questions. Now, I will touch on the types of meetings you can have with venture capitalists. There are 3 types, which are introducing your services, following up on your first meeting, as well as making investment decisions. The first step is to introduce your services. At this stage, focus on clearly explaining what your business is about. The idea is the same, whether the location is an elevator or a meeting room. Please prepare in advance and practice as many times as you can regarding what you will pitch and how you will pitch. Bring demos and prototypes to show them what you are working on, and most importantly, what your story will look like when it happens, giving the impression that your company will surely become a huge company. Besides that, while you may wear casual clothes, please make sure that they are clean and sensible. After successfully passing the first meeting, the next step is a follow-up meeting. At this stage, you will have to take a deep dive into your business. If your service has already been launched, you should show traction. If you haven't launched the service yet, explain clearly how you plan to grow rapidly. You have already succeeded in getting your potential investor interested during the intro meeting. So in this follow-up meeting, you will have to convince them that you can move forward fast, whether it's in service development or actual traction. Even if the idea is great, if it can't be realized fast enough, there's no point in investing as a venture capitalist. Then, at the investment decision-making meeting, make a presentation that focuses on the uniqueness of your startup along with your big vision. And no matter which meeting you are participating in, be sure to ask the next step before finishing. In the intro and follow-up, the next step is whether you can proceed to the next meeting. at the decision-making stage, the purpose of the meeting is to gain an investment commitment. However, it may not be decided on the spot. So, it is better to clarify whether the answer is a complete no, or whether there is still a next step to get a contract. Don't be too disappointed if you were not able to obtain investment. Meeting with a venture capitalist is, in a sense, like matchmaking. So, if you are creating a good business which can grow fast, there will definitely be investors who are a good match for you. Therefore, rather than blindly setting up meetings, it is better to do some research and narrow down the venture capital that suits your business the best. There is no point in approaching venture capitalists that focuses on late stage when you are still in the early stages. And for example, it will also be a waste of time to approach a fund that specializes in a specific industry, such as healthcare, if your business is not in that domain. I think there is some human compatibility involved. So please use your contacts in the startup industry to gather information. In that sense, joining an incubator or accelerator will be very helpful. Now, let's take a mini quiz. The first question is, what is the definition of venture capital? The second question is, what are the 4 things that you have to do before meeting with a VC? Finally, the third question, what are the 3 types of meetings with VCs? Please review this video lecture on your own and prepare your answers before the next session. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.